Hi, I'm Dr. Barry. Corruption, corrupt politics, parasitic politicians. They're not new to Australia, Ireland.
Late in July last year, I was served a notice under the Abandoned Goods Act. The notice was to get an order from the court to sell or remove goods abandoned on the property at 1004 Chapman Road, Glenfield, Geraldton, Western Australia. That property, I have the certificate of title. Certificate of title means certificate of ownership. I do not have a copy of a title deed, which has nothing to do with ownership of land. It means you're a tenant. That means the government, or so-called government, who is only a legislature, decided they would take possession of land. They recreated fee simple to mean that you have all rights of ownership except you don't own it. How the hell does that work? How can you pay for something all your life and then you don't own it? So at any time they can come along and take it off you, according to them. Who died and made these clowns God? Nobody. All councils throughout Australia have an ABN number. The High Court, in a huge case in Queensland against Queensland Rail, HCA 11 of 2015, they ruled if you have an ABN, provide services for money, you are a trading company. That can't be changed. The Taxation Department classes local governments and councils as trading companies. Section 35 of the Fair Work Act says if you have an ABN and you employ people, you're a company. Once you're established under state law, any type of company automatically comes under the Commonwealth Constitution, Section 51, subsection 20. That also is a ruling of the High Court in HCA 11 of 2015. Decisions of the High Court, as everybody should or would know, are binding on the courts, judges and people of every state. That includes politicians. If they can't see it, go get a new job. You're in the wrong one. You're biased, you're bent, you have no legislative authority except what's granted to you by us. The Constitution, our Constitution, is a binding document. What's it binding on? It's a binding on the parliaments. It controls the parliaments. To the extent our Constitution says if an authority isn't granted to a parliament, it's denied and remains with the people. We were asked in 1974, do you want local government? We said no. Doesn't matter what version they try to put, the lies they try to put, local governments. What a lie. How can you pass a law forcing yourself to do something? What sort of a mental case, whether it be a lawyer, a magistrate or a politician, would even dream up such a sick, stupid idea? You get to pass a law to make yourself do something. That is nonsense. To add it to the state constitution made the state constitution repugnant to the Commonwealth one. Why? Because if it's not in the Commonwealth one, it doesn't exist. You can tell all the lies, you can dream all the lies and say states have rights, states, they have all their rights. 107, 108, 109 of the Constitution establishes states after federation. They were colonies. Right up until the 9th of July 1900 when they were wiped out under Clause 7 of the Constitution. Then they became states 4 months and 25 days later. In between, there was imperial law. Imperial law was, look at that, the Transfer of Land Act, because it has nothing to do with the government and it remains how it is as an imperial act. It's transferred under Chalice real property, which defines fee simple. Nothing else. Not the government, not the parliament, not anybody who professes to exercise authority lawfully in this country. The right over our land transfers from the Crown to us, nobody else. Who can take it off us? 12 of our peers, under Clause 39 of Magna Carta. Nobody else. Magistrates, are they in the Constitution? No, they're not. They're established under imperial law. Courts of petty sessions, Magistrates are required to be stipendiary magistrates. They select all justices of the peace, they swear them in. The pool of magistrates comes from those justices of the peace after 5 years of continual service. They put it in 1979 into our state constitution and then decided to have in the people's interest under our laws. They're not allowed to be lawyers. That's something the government decided, or the so-called purported government would be more to the point, they don't exist lawfully, have decided they have control over. No, that's a lie. They don't. Magistrates select and swear in all the police officers. They are employed by the state of Western Australia, which is the people, under the control of the governor. So when the politicians get out of line, the government can order their arrest and put before a lawful court, because that's what the police are there for. They are there to serve the people, keep the peace. But their main job is to keep the parliament in check, and they're not doing it. Why? Because the government took control of them, first with commissioned officers and then walked all over them. Then in September 2004, they created the Magistrates Court Act, a fraud. Unlawful, no rights. They call it law. It's not. It's an act or a statute without any sanction by the Crown. Has no value in law. Next, the problem arises. In 1988, they decided they'd have another shot at this. As explained before, they wanted to add 119A to our Constitution, again to recognise local government. We said, no, you're not having it. You're not going to continue it. You're not going to establish it. You're not going to empower it. That's our law. Our law. We the people establish the Commonwealth, not we the government. Government have no rights except what are granted by us, to serve us. Serve us, not rule over us. If you think you can rule over us, go to communist countries, which is what the Labor Party and Liberal Party, National Party and Greens, either knowingly or unknowingly, are doing. Let's get back to this nice little court case. I went to court on the 7th of August. The magistrate who used to work for the DPP as one of their head prosecutors, he understood everything I put to him. I put to him, and my challenge to their ability to dispose of the property was on the grounds the council had no right to exist. He accepted that and adjourned the case to the 11th of December for a hearing into everything, whether the council had the right. They didn't. On the 23rd of September 2018, I filed my submissions challenging the jurisdiction of the court, the ability of council to exist in law, and for the magistrate to sit in our court because he hadn't sworn a lawful oath. Now, we went to court on the 11th. It got adjourned. The magistrate says it wasn't his fault. But when I asked, because I already knew that on the 25th of October they sold my property, didn't purport to sell it, they sold it. The local real estate person, Murray Fraser, he was the agent, he arranged it. It sold for $325,000 over 30 years at 4.5%, all on the Real Estate Institute of Australia's website. I had a copy, I still have a copy. They sold it. They didn't complete the deal because I sent notices to Anthony Quara's Civic Legal, that ignorant, evil little man that runs that company. It states that I don't know the law. Well, I know the law. He only knows state acts and statutes. No idea of the law. Suddenly, on the 20th of December, the deal fell through, did it? Was the finance rejected? I don't know. But by doing what you do, you did it in contempt of the Magistrates Court. You conspired, Anthony Quar and Gray Porter, to pervert the course of justice. You perverted the course of justice because you actually did it. You stole my land, so you conspired to steal my land. You did it all in contempt of the High Court, because the High Court has consistently ruled that we, the people, are sovereign and supreme in this country. In Fijo versus the Northern Territory, Justice Kirby made it abundantly clear what fee simple meant. Alienate your land from the Crown. But the magistrates decided they could overrule that. Big heroes. Big traitors is what they are. When I attended on the 22nd of January 2019 in the court in Geraldton. The magistrate sat there. I challenged his jurisdiction. I said to him, you swore an oath, being under the Magistrates Court Act, being I, whoever, do solemnly swear or declare I will serve the people and the state of Western Australia, two individual units. The people are the state, created under 107, 108 and 109 of our Constitution. The other state is created as a body corporate under the Acts Amendment Repeals Court and Legal Practice Act. No way out of it. He's serving two lots. But the same oath says this oath comes from the Oaths, Affidavits and Statutory Declarations Act, which I revealed to him, which purports to remove Schedule E from our state constitution. A letters patent can't be removed. And I told him that. And I told him, you've breached the oath of allegiance you owe to the people. That is treason under the Commonwealth Criminal Code. So right now, you are a traitor. You are sitting in treason. You are tainted of treason under Section 44 of the Constitution. Newspapers reported that fact. They didn't report anything else accurately, except that a gentleman that was in the court spat the dummy and yelled at the magistrate and stormed out. He wasn't thrown out, he walked out, because he'd previously been bashed in the court and thrown down the stairs into the lockup and had a heart attack in the lockup. He was taken from the lockup to Fremantle Hospital, where he got 5 stents. He could have died. Who gave a hang? The magistrate sat on his bench at that time and watched it. Of course he was angry at the stupidity, the treason, and the bad attitude of the magistrate sitting in the court. Now, again, on the 23rd, we went back again to court. We went back to court because the magistrate could not exercise any authority. At that session in the court, the magistrate again succumbed to the fact he was sitting in treason and fraud, and he had no jurisdiction. He then decided, we'll have an adjournment, because I gave him 2 documents, which are decisions of the High Court, which proved that all our imperial laws and acts continued in this country. And that was a ruling, HCA 44 of 2010. That HCA 44 of 2010 cements in place our Bill of Rights, 1688, which of course contains the statute of monopolies, which is authority for the magistrate to exist. He didn't want that there. You might think I'm silly by saying this. In there it also says the act of habeas corpus was active in this country, fully. They deny that. Who cares what they deny? It went on all day. Then, while he was out having a look at these decisions, he came back and decided I had never opposed any of the issues in relation to the existence of lawful local government. That is a lie by him. We were all put out of the court. The lawyer stayed there. He conspired with that lawyer to pervert the course of justice. Under Section 42 of the Commonwealth Criminal Code, that is a serious offence. He committed it because he conspired with him. He then persisted to say, all these decisions that have previously been put against you somehow negated what I said. We disputed several things, except for one thing, which is on the internet, added to a decision given in relation to an appeal I put to the High Court against the Granite Shire. They stayed and they tried to make out it was dismissed for all these reasons. It was not. I have the document. The document came from the High Court to me. It stated your special leave to appeal was dismissed under Rule 41, subsection 10, subsection 5. You look up their rules, subsection 5 has been removed. Rule 41, subsection 10 still exists in its original form. It is because the application was out of time. No other reason. And it was signed by a registrar, Ruth Cheetham, not by a judge. There is no decision signed by a judge, and somehow this magistrate tried to push down my neck that was the case. The High Court ruled that the councils exist. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. You lied to the court, sir. You misled, deceived, and lied to this court. That's fine. Then we went back again. on the 6th of February, where I raised the same issue again of you sitting in treason. Sitting contrary to section 44, you're attainted of treason. I accused you, I'm an officer of the Crown, you're attainted of treason. Get the picture? You can't sit. You are sitting. How? In treason, in fraud, with no jurisdiction. You persisted putting the same nonsense back to me about all the cases previously been before the court. However, what you don't know, or haven't bothered to look, in Glue versus the Granite Shire before Wheeler, Pullen and Buss, 3 quorums, not judges, quorums, unelected judges, people impersonating a judge who aren't one. I charged them with treason. I handed them 3 documents. Oh yeah, they changed the transcript, but we already recorded it, and it just isn't how you say. It still says, I served 3 documents. They said, what are these? I said, they are indictments for you to attend in the Supreme Court of Victoria charged with treason. They got up and ran out of the court. They said, oh, look at this. I took my leave of the court. You're a liar. That is a lie. If you read it any other way than what I've said, you're a liar. We've got it recorded. I knew prior to going there that I wasn't going to get a fair hearing. You weren't going to abide by the law. You lied. So you have a problem. You're attainted of treason from the time I served those documents on you and accused you of treason. So your decision handed down the 1st of December 2006 was done without authority. It is a nullity, has no authority, but it's being used. Why? Because no magistrate or judge will adhere to the actual transcript or what actually transpired, because you changed the transcript to cover up your crimes. Your crimes are sitting outside of our Constitution. Your crimes are sitting in our court without having sworn the oath of allegiance. On the 6th, a nice little magistrate referred to Headley versus Spivey. That is a joke. I assisted them putting all of that case together. I know exactly what it was. I know when Wheeler, Pullen and Buss sat on that case, Wheeler, as he walked out the door, said, I don't need to swear the oath. I have a commission from the government. You silly fool of a woman. A commission from the government? You just admitted to treason. The state constitution says, and the letters patent for the office of governor says, you have to be selected by and sworn in by the governor, and you must take the oath according to the constitution. You know Schedule E that was removed in September 2003? That oath. So, Ms. Wheeler, you were going for a holiday. Oh, look, treachery to overturn the Constitution. That's what it is. Overturn the Commonwealth. That's what it is. Make war against the Crown. That's what it is. It only needs one thing, violence, to prove that. Now, we go on to the next step, which is on next Wednesday the 20th at 2:15. He wants submissions in relation to the cost order. What cost order? He's not even a lawful magistrate. He's sitting in treason still. Now, he has an issue. That issue is treachery to overturn the Constitution. It used to be 24AA of the Crimes Act, brought a penalty of life imprisonment. Now it's Section 80, subsection 1AA of the Crimes Act. Just read up on it, I know what it says. You are committing treachery to overturn the Commonwealth Constitution by sitting in our court. You are committing treachery to overturn the Commonwealth by sitting in our court. You are committing treachery and treason against the Crown of England and an act of war against the Crown of England by you sitting in the court. Where is the violence? There will be several witnesses in court, and I have the names of several others that had the living daylights belted out of them by the police and council workers. And you're looking after them, you conspire with them to give them authority, you're party to that offence. That is criminal. That is treachery. Penalty? Life imprisonment. You like that one? That's where you're going if you deal with this matter any further. You are going to jail. All magistrates, all judges, all politicians. Now, the reason I'm doing this video today is because it's going on social media. I want everybody to record it and send it to your politicians so they have no excuse. There is only one excuse under the Commonwealth Criminal Code 1914. It is that you don't know. You do know because I'm telling you. You are traitors. You are thieves. You are treacherous people who are trying to overturn the Commonwealth of Australia and steal it.